Welcome back everybody to the modern landing page design tutorial series. So in the previous parts we have created the bento grid to display or showcase some features of our website. So in this part we're going to be taking a look at how we can showcase categories and testimonials using a single section. So we're going to be creative today and we're going to be creating visually interesting category and testimonial section. Let's start. First of all, as we've been doing, I would like to start with a header. So let's just duplicate this header and we can just change the type. So this is providing cloud service for over 20 years. Let's change it to hundreds of freelancers. Talent, let's say hundreds of talented freelancers waiting. Okay, and a bit description, you can say you can find any service you are looking for provided by professional talent. Okay, just some copy. No big deal. We just want to focus more on the layouts, the typography, the white space, color decisions, more than the type in this tutorial series. So we can just let's position this up and let's give ourselves a bit more space to work with. Okay, now how are we gonna do that? So straight away, as I'm thinking of it, I'm thinking that we could have a two-column layout. Like one column here could be for categories and one column here for testimonials. You might be wondering, how would this work? My idea is, as I'm thinking of it, is we can have cards for each category. For example, web development, right? For web development, we can have like a card for different web developers on the platform, and so on. Maybe they rotate. We can include some kind of animation for the categories to change over time. Yeah, so let's just start working on it. Let's just see how it turns out. First thing we want to do is work on the category. So let's work on the web development category. You can say web developers. Okay, so now this is the heading of the category. So let's just say 20 pixels, semi-bold. Now on 14 pixels, regular, and let's use the gray color, gray 600. We want to show some features in a sense, some like information about this category. For example, how many, let's say 150 plus uh, freelancers. So the number, first of all, people would like to know the number of freelancers on their platform. What would they want to know other than the number? They would like to know the average rating, right? So let's remove this and say 4.3 out of 5. And we would need some way, like a clever way of displaying the rating. Right away, I'm thinking of using a star. Figma has this star, and I'm thinking of using it. Let's just say 24 pixels, star. Corner radius, let's keep it consistent, so 1 or 2. Let's go 1 corner radius. Then we could maybe make it black. Since the design, as you can see, it's fully monochromatic, so we're not using any colors. It's monochromatic, so we're gonna keep with black. So now we can group these. We can change this. We can say 4.5, 4.3 out of We can also show it like by stars visually, but I think this takes less space. People would also want to know, let's say rating. People would also want to know maybe how much would it cost to get the average cost, right? So let's just say dollar, maybe let's say 700, right? $700 average. We can say that there's probably a way to showcase it, but we're gonna keep it simple today. Let's make it gray. Let's now focus here. I'm gonna take the $700 and make it black, just and semi-bold, just for some visual interest. Now we could take this here, move this down here, and this, I think these are like probably the most important information to display to the user. So let's just group these on top, give it a 64 pixel gap, group this here, give it 64 again. No, maybe not 64, but instead maybe you can say 8. Then in the middle we can just add like maybe a circle. We can add circle. We can come here, give it the same color, gray 600. Maybe let's make it lighter, gray 900, 900, 800. Yeah, okay, that looks good. So 6 pixel by 6 pixel circle. We place it in the center. And we align to the center, and that looks fine. That looks good. We can now copy these and 32 pixel maybe. Then let's add a border. So first we need a fill, and borders, we've been doing the same type of border, so I'm gonna keep with that. So it's gray 850, I think. Then it's 8 pixel corner radius followed by 16 pixel padding. Also with hug content, and this is like our card. So maybe increase this a bit, like 64 pixel. Yeah, 64 pixel, and maybe we can add a grid to it to make it more interesting. So it's 261, sorry, it's 356 by 175, right? So let's make it as big as this. Okay, then 16 8 pixel border radius, then the grid. So let's just select all of them, Shift A. By the way, if you're not familiar, and if this is the first time, we are creating a grid system like this. You can see here it's fading away. So we're creating something such as that. We can change the selection color to gray 800, 900, 850. Yeah, probably 850. Let's make this white. And let's duplicate these a couple of times. Okay. Good. So now we want to make this the vertical lines, and we want to duplicate and rotate it. Okay, 90 degree rotation. Then we want to make it full here. Again, make this horizontal. Then we come to the horizontal and just select all of them, all of the lines, and make them fill the container. Then we don't need some of them, so it's overflowing. So we can just remove some of them. Okay, nice. Now we can group the horizontal and the vertical lines, Control G, and rename it grid. Grids. Let's make it grid actually. Snap rule. Uh, grid BG again. Uh, then we want to group them and rename it grid system or sys. So now we want to put the background over it and give it a gradient. So when we make a gradient, it will be from white to white at 0%. So you can see it's a fading effect. So we can probably do something like this. Yeah, good. We can also make this a frame. We can say frame selection to make it a frame and clip content. Then, okay, so the grid system, let's get this out. And the frame 8, we're going to rename it to grid system. Let's actually name this category, this one. Finally, you can see that there's an overflowing here in the horizontal. So let's just remove one of them. Horizontal, then let's center it. Okay, so this is our grid system, and we just want to put it inside of the frame here. So we can just drag and drop it to the category. We can also make it positioned absolutely so that it does overlap and becomes a background that we can go and position it on the back. Also, we have to come to the category section and clip content so that it doesn't overflow. Finally, we have such a category box. Let's just adjust it a bit. Okay, that looks good. That looks fine. Okay, now we just want to put it here. And then let's duplicate it a couple of times. But before that, this is the selected one. Okay, so this is currently active. So we want to give it an indication. To make that, we're going to make stroke more bold. We will keep the grid. And for the others, we're going to remove the grid system and it will be blank. So you can see that there is some sort of like indication. We can even make the stroke wider, heavier, okay, here. We can also make it black, actually. Let's make it black. So now this indicates that this is the currently active one. So each each testimony we're going to show will be for the web developers. Okay, so now let's take this and rename this maybe web, let's say UI UX designers. So I'm going to keep this as a reference frame and I'm going to make this a fixed width. Okay, so I'm going to make this fixed width. So I'm gonna, instead of 64, I'm gonna make it also. So now we keep this as a reference frame, but this is like the default. Okay, so now let's just duplicate them a couple of times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3, 5. 5 is enough. UI UX designers, game developers, graphics designers, marketers, let's say. So now we have our categories, right? So we can just group them. Shift A. 24 pixel, I think, would be good. Yeah, 24 pixel works great. And we're going to rename the frame categories. So now we have the categories frame. We need testimonials. So like I'm thinking like randomly placed testimonials like scattered around like this. So for each, right? For example, for the web developers, there will be its own. For the UI UX designer, it will be this one, and I think it will recycle based on time. How are we gonna show that? I'm not sure. Maybe we can have a little indicator down here. Let's try with a circle. Okay, a circle. Then we can duplicate the circle and make one of them this. Okay. Finally, we can make this one black and this one gray 600. So maybe this is the counter. Let's change the colors. Okay, let's group them. Control G, timer. Let's decrease its height and width to be 48. And we can maybe place it here for each one. So when it's time for the UI UX designers, it will go down here and be here, just over the UI UX designers. Okay, so let's position this. Okay, yeah, that looks good. And let's change the colors to be gray 800, gray 850, maybe gray. So we can actually make this white and make this gray 850. So it's subtle. We don't want stuff like this. Like these are visual interest points. So points of interest, these are going to be animated, but we don't want them like to occupy much more space than they need. So we don't want the user's eye to be towards this. We just want this to be like a cool visual indicator and not a visual interest point. So okay, so now let's just group these and say categories. Categories accepted. Okay, this looks good. So I'm really liking how this is shaping. So today's video is a bit shorter than usual. Thanks for the support on the series as always. Yeah, so we have created the navbar, then we moved to the hero section, making it sleek. We focused on consistency and keeping strong design principles. The trust symbol section, then we finished one of the hardest part, which is creating a sleek, modern, and interesting bento grid. Today we are worked on the categories and testimonials. Will be in the next section, the next parts. Thanks for watching. I will try to get the next part out as soon as possible. Thanks for the support. As always, until the next time, goodbye.